Morning in the mid lane. BB is the AD carry, and Jay on support.
And on the red side, it's Fnatic. Up top, Soaz, Cyanide in the jungle, Peke mid, Reckless AD carry, and Yellow Star supporting.
Well, with this being the last match for one of these teams, we turn our attention to the top lane battle between the French former 1v1 champion Soaz up against Achi for Taipei Assassins, who plays very similar champions to him.
Yeah, Achi actually played a top lane Lissandra with teleport, which is very reminiscent of Soaz style play. And he actually had a really good start on that champion. But earlier in the day, he got camped by Meteos up top, and he wasn't able to use his Renekton pick to go aggressive early. And also, yesterday, he first picked that Lee Sin, and he just got annihilated by Impact Shyvana. And he was not able to split push or create plays with the teleport. On the other hand, Soaz has had success on the Lee Sin and even drawn bans on it in the European LCS. However, he has also had his weak points today with yesterday with an unimpressive Aurelia pick going into that ridiculous team fight zone control comp of Nunu, Thresh, and Lulu. And he tried to build the early move speed, and he wasn't able to utilize it to get anything going against OMG. It does show that he is still using new champions, though, and he is probably the most versatile top laner here at All-Stars. So this should be one of the most interesting top lane matchups as far as just pure champion picks go. Either of these guys can use many, many different champions.
Yeah, we'll see how it works out. And one thing I can tell you, they talked about how Fnatic are the home favorites. I can't overestimate how much this means to Soaz. Like these games, Yellow Star as well, obviously French player, but Soaz literally carries his heart on his sleeve, and he is emotional after every single game, even normal game in the LCS. Here in Paris, in front of his home crowd, he's 0-3. Absolutely, they want to win this game.
Yeah,
they don't want to go home.
We saw his
0-4.
emotion in that interview in front of the home crowd here. Everyone yelling his name right behind him. He was definitely extremely emotional.
Definitely a little bit choked up. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Picks and bans about to get underway for this final group stage game. One of these teams will be going home a loser, and a 0-4 loser at that. Lulu being banned out straight away. Nobody letting Soaz have that through, but that's actually a problem because Morning plays that as his main.
Yeah, and Morning's champion pool, people have been talking about that being a pretty easy target to go after. We'll see if Ziggs shows his face in the ban phase as well. If so, they're going to be chopping down that pool pretty quick.
Well, there is the Jax ban. She's not going to be able to play on that one. We'll see whether Lee Sin gets picked in early or banned out as well. Lucian being taken away by the Taipei Assassins. Reckless still not going to let that one through, which I'm still not sure whether that affects him too heavily.
I think it does, because as I was talking about in the SKT game, his favorite two champions, the Lucian and Graves, both banned out against him. And then going back to the Caitlyn, he doesn't like Caitlyn that much anymore. Talking to him just yesterday, because of the way that Caitlyn does fall off and the fact that you have to use her early game power to get something, make it happen. I think that, maybe TPA, no, they're not going to continue with that strategy and ban out Graves as well. But taking out the #1 pick, Lucian, is pretty strong.
But you talked about it with the Ziggs ban. That means Morning may well be in a little bit of hot water here. There is the Kassadin ban as well, targeted towards Peke. A lot of mid lane focus here. What will the final ban be from Fnatic? We'll see what they leave open on this one. Remember, LeBlanc is out there. Morning played that one earlier on. We'll see whether they go with that ban as the final choice or whether it will be an AD carry. We'll see what it's going to be. It's coming in a moment. It is Syndra, I believe, that's about to come through, and Kha'Zix's been locked in very quickly. That's going to be Wins, I feel, in the top lane.
Yeah, or in the jungle.
Jungle,
Wins in the jungle, very much a fan of Kha'Zix, as pretty much all junglers are.
Of course,
he chose it in the blind pick that got them here. That's definitely a first pick worthy champion for TPA. Pretty good start for them, but again, mid lane focus here. What is Morning going to play? Because they also ban out the Syndra, who's strong in lane and is a long range mage from the mid lane. We'll have to see. He's probably going to play something pretty safe, trying to farm. The Orianna is still up. Maybe the LeBlanc.
A lot of discussion right now between Cyanide and Yellow Star. You can see them clearly being the vocal ones. So as pouring a word in there as well as Peke, trying to decide, will it be the mid lane focus to start with? Without LeBlanc available, it might well put Morning in yet more trouble, taking away every champion he can, and Yellow Star on one of his favorites, Leona.
So yeah, Link was talking about the TPA focusing on that LeBlanc pick. Fnatic take it away, and you get the other one. Orianna showing up. Defensive, she can farm okay in the lane, and we saw Link actually in that matchup did really well.
Ooh, Zac potentially He was played by TPA in them crazy best-of-5 series, but it is going to get switched away from Thresh. Would be the wiser choice. They are going to go with that one alongside Orianna.
Yeah, the Zac actually was taken by Morning, and he swapped up to the top lane, and they had a Renekton mid lane to try and lane up against Fizz, I believe it was. But yeah, we won't see him switching around, doing that Zac, anything weird, going with the safe Orianna that we talked about.
Reckless currently cycling through. He's been through Graves, Jinx, Twitch, now on towards Vayne. And honestly, these are all champions he's had good performances on. If you think back to TPA versus Fnatic, back at IPL 5, where Fnatic went and won 2-0. That's when he was rocking the Vayne and actually went and beat Doublelift on Vayne himself. However, looks like they may well switch back. We're still clearly indecision about which AD carry because he doesn't know what he's up against. I'm guessing BB will go with the Jinx if it's available.
Yeah, I mean, they have looked at the hard late game carries for BB. They really need BB to get a lot of kills if they're going to look to win the game. Usually he has to get double digits. And there we go. He instantly locks in a hard carry for the late game, but it is going to be Vayne. I want to talk about TPA's comp here, though, because they lock in the Kha'Zix plus Orianna. They already have a good ball delivery system. Having that on Kha'Zix in the first place is going to help out because he will probably transition into that tanky build later. And it will even, he's a great champion for starting off that Shockwave because he can get in there so easily with invisibility.
So Elise being picked up by Cyanide. We're just waiting to see what Soaz is going to lock in finally. But as you mentioned, the Vayne locked in there. Lissandra actually played this the other day. Actually worked out pretty well for him. It's probably been his best champion so far at this event.
Yeah, we'll see how well they can actually control those early minion waves because that's really been the story for all of the solo top laners. When all of these switches come in.
Soraka getting locked in. That's going to be Soaz, I believe, in the top lane. Now, cast your mind back. It was the playoffs. He ran it in the top against Alliance, I believe it was, and it was dominant in that top lane. How's that going to work against Lissandra, though? Yeah,
he can. The silence is very, very potent against Lissandra. We'll have to see, because usually Soraka shoves up the lane pretty easily, spamming, and we'll have to see how Cyanide actually supports that lane. This is all determined by where the lanes are playing out in the early game, though, because we've seen so many lane swaps due to different jungle starts.
Oh, the crowd are going literally bananas right now as they fling bananas around. So, Soraka in the top. Hai will be happy because he's been calling for this champion throughout the whole tournament because he's not here. That's his champion of choice. But unfortunately, he's not going to be in the mid lane for him, but he's still going to be watching at home. What do we make of these two comps? Because this is a pretty wild choice coming out from both teams, I think, especially for Fnatic.
Yeah, really interesting part is that there are no ignites right now on TPA going against Soraka, and this is so as Soraka who takes teleport instead of heal, so he wouldn't even be able to remove the ignite debuff if it was put onto him, since he's using the teleport instead. But TPA do not run with anything to burn through a target. So in prolonged team fights, the Soraka really going to give Fnatic a big edge.
Well, as we storm the Rift, drop by Twitter and tell us who you think got the better team comp in Champ Select. You can tweet us about your vote at LOL Esports and use the hashtag TPA or the hashtag FNC. So, here we go, ladies and gentlemen. The final game of the group stage. Fnatic or Taipei Assassins will be going home after this game. Who will move on to the semi-finals to face SK Telecom? We will find out over the next course of the Summoner's Rift. Taipei Assassins as the blue team and Fnatic as the red team. Massive home favorites here in Paris.
Both teams starting out with the early ward. Fnatic's placed very quickly here, getting the intel. Yes, they've seen where the ward from TPA has been placed as well, so they can work around this.
So Jay does come around towards the bush, doesn't manage to get it down there. Cyanide just skittering around in the bushes. And TPA actually will be going in towards his bush. Cyanide needs to be very careful about his next approach.
And I have to say, with the team shaping up like this, TPA do have late game insurance policy with the Vayne. There would be nobody really who could split push handle Vayne if they do get to that late game on even footing. Whereas Fnatic are really team fight focused here with the AoE AD carry Graves and Soraka, as we mentioned. But they also have pick potential themselves. Elise, LeBlanc, and Leona, great at punishing people for bad positioning. And as Crepo was talking about Fnatic, they kind of lost confidence in their poke comps, so they've been running more hard engaged, been running more team fight oriented.
Yeah, I mean, Nidalee was available, and that's someone that Peke would have locked in ordinarily, but as you say, they've kind of lost confidence in themselves, despite the fact he still hits it hard in solo queue. It is LeBlanc he's gone with this time around up against Morning's Orianna. We'll see how that works out for them. No great differences in starting items. We do see, of course, the Ruby Gem for Jay, but we are seeing Fnatic hesitantly tiptoeing in towards the blue buff.
All right, so we will see the common invades here. TPA actually starting off on their own side, and Fnatic are trying to go for a double buff start. Will they be able to get it? Cyanide can smite. Jay could pull off an Afro though. Oh, he already used his empowered attack.
He's going to try and go in. The teleport coming through. Cyanide in trouble. He gets the blue buff, but he's going to have to flash away. Actually does manage to follow through. First blood will be going across the Taipei assassin.
Oh,
and it will go to Angie. And a blue buff for Lissandra is vital.
Cyanide got his blue buff, but then he immediately lost it. So Lissandra are going to be very happy about that one. Since it's a switch anyway, it's not that bad blowing that teleport. Now they could... Oh, actually, he recalls and he's going to try and defend here? Interesting. They also call over Kha'Zix. So Wins and Achi might be trying to go for a defense here, but they're already been zoned off the turret.
But despite that death, it doesn't actually set Cyanide behind too far because he's still going to get his red buff, which is all that Wins has got.
He got the experience from the blue.
He did get the experience, yeah, he got the kill in the end as well. And we do see Fnatic doing that push, of course, on the top turret. They're not going to go for it yet. Wins is going to come around defense, and as you mentioned, Achi is up here to defend, but they are only level 1 and 2 up against 3 members of Fnatic at level 2, and Cyanide is making his way across here as well.
So Soaz was able to get a blue too. So even though Lissandra can try and spam out wave clear here, they've got a Soraka with blue buff. The mana battery and the heal battery up there in top. If they wanted to play a prolonged siege, then Fnatic would definitely get the upper hand, and they've actually even called in Cyanide here.
Didn't see whether he managed to steal it away there, actually. You know, this play has to be made to count for Fnatic.
Why are they still staying here? They saw Cyanide already. What are they doing?
Achi and Wins, who's going to get locked up? He's going to flash across. Yellow Star run towards Wins. Wins is going to take all the damage. The punishment. The tower hit towards the Fnatic. They kite it so well. And that's a double kill. And surely the tower in just a moment.
They've seen Cyanide, they do not escape the turret. Fnatic picking up 2 kills here to answer, and that will be an objective as well. Let's take a look down bottom. What have BB and Jay been able to do here? They've built up a pretty nice wave, but not much turret damage.
Well, they didn't push too hard. They have got some damage down. Check this fight out, though. This is what you call, why didn't they back away?
Yeah, I don't know. Soaz and Cyanide coming in with double buffs. They've got the armor there from the Soraka heal as well. Makes this really easy for them to pull off. Beautiful play there from Fnatic, able to capitalize.
Very well played. You see the tower going down. This is the bottom turret as well. TPA do not quite take it down just yet, though. Jay and BB are going to have to push hard to try and get this one before Soaz gets back there. I think they should take it down, so it's going to be a turret apiece.
I don't know. So, Soaz was confident. He didn't use his teleport to get down there, just walk into lane as Soraka. He's coming to at least get experience from the cannon wave.
Yeah, he's going to clear it down with that siege minion there, as you say. The cannon wave will take the turret down. There it goes. Peke getting on towards Morning. He's going to have the lock up there. In comes around. Yellowstar chaining that CC. He tries to flash away, but it's a kill for Peke.
Another kill for Fnatic. Roaming supports here. Yellowstar coming up huge.
And you've got to wonder about that flash. Surely he knew he was already dead. It's like wasted summoner, I feel, towards the end of that one. The crowd definitely starting to get behind the home team.
They've got a huge advantage top, now a huge advantage mid. And Soaz on that Soraka has a giant CS lead as well because he was able to stay up there. So he's actually okay down here in this long lane, even without his turret. They have a little bit of ward coverage. He's just hugging the bush here because he has nothing in the tri-bush.
So both teams actually trying to put a lot in the early pressure. You can see double Doran's rings being bought all around. Everybody blinging themselves out so far, but it is Fnatic with that slight edge, with that 3-1 kill advantage, which transitions into a 1,000 gold advantage. Jay on Thresh hasn't really been able to make too much of an impact yet. He was all on his own down that bottom lane for a long period of time because Fnatic seemingly have a tactic this time around.
Well, yeah, he didn't have anybody to play against. He was playing against minions and a turret down there, so Jay didn't have too big of an impact. And it's basically going to be the bottom lane. It's up to BB. as usual for TPA, he is really going to be the focus for them. He needs to be able to carry this game if they have a hope. They're looking for that late game split push Vayne maybe. To do that, though, they're going to have to get through a beastly mid-game of Fnatic and avoid some of the picks. They've already been caught out once by Leona. LeBlanc is so good at capitalizing on any sort of gank. He even set that one up for Yellowstar to come in.
Well,
it's looking pretty bad for
ordinarily see Cyanide helping out quite a lot in this mid lane, and with Morning with the heal and flash both down, I would expect him to pay a visit. You can see Peke already starting to work down the hit points. Actually fairly even trade so far, but the pings are already going to Morning here. I think Cyanide is going to make an approach.
Cyanide coming in from the
just
side,
on the back.
Yeah. The ward coverage here on the mid lane now is fairly decent. He's got one up there in the top side pixel, and they have established that pink ward as well. So he's feeling a little bit safer, but like you said, no summoners available. Burn both heal and flash. He's going to have to watch his step and CS from afar.
Soa's feeling confident in that bottom lane. He's actually pushing in. Wins actually came back because BB had taken a fair bit of harassment, as you can see there with his hit points. And Soa's actually single-handedly pushing BB in towards the tower. Man,
the biggest story here for TPA is that their top lane, not only did they lose the turret, but they also got frozen up there by Fnatic's duo. This is terrible. They're losing out not only in global gold, but also in minion waves. Usually, the team that gets the early turret is the one who gets a wave frozen against them in deep. And so it kind of makes up there, and you have to watch how many minions are they losing for that turret. But Fnatic get the best of all worlds here, and this is going to be a massive Graves, even though their TPA is putting all their hopes on BB down in the bottom lane, giving them the one easy farm lane. Fnatic actually have pretty much easy farm lanes all over.
Yeah, and you can see that Reckless with that top lane wave, just holding it there. Yellowstar's going to come back up and help out, get some of that experience on towards him.
Oh, and that freeze is not going to break anytime soon. Reckless is doing a good job of nurturing that creep wave and not shoving it back. Oh, never mind. He does the poor job, misses the CS, and buckshots the wave.
Commentator's curse right there. Straight away, but he's going to make sure it doesn't get taken down by the turret. That's why he doesn't want to push it too heavily. You can see down the bottom, BB is trying to do a fairly similar job. Soaz doesn't want to get involved, and this is actually a blue buff invade from Taipei Assassins.
Right, so this is the common response to a wave being frozen that deep. You got to make something happen elsewhere on the map. They opt to go bottom, but their champions are fairly low level. Vayne has not bought yet, so even though BB is the hope for this team, he's got all the CS, he's sitting with a Doran's Blade.
Oh, Archie goes in. It's a hook on Yellowstar. He does manage to get away. You did see the blue buff was on Archie there, and actually, I'm looking towards the mid lane. I can see that Morning had used his shockwave on Peke, but it doesn't look like he's done a great deal of damage.
Yeah, it was fairly defensively, trying to get Peke to back off. Now it's going to be a giant minion wave. Let's see if they can actually defend this. Soraka can clear, but it's how dangerous does Soaz want to go? How close can he walk?
Yeah, it's a 3v4. Of course, Soaz, you say, he can clear those waves quickly, which is what he's trying to do. And it will be enough with that 3v4. And of course, while that's all happening, Reckless is now shoving this top lane. The AD carry, there's the teleport. That's going to be Archie joining back in there. Finally, he's going to get himself some minions.
Yeah, finally some experience here for Archie. They spent a while jungling him and the support. See if they can come back from this, because there was a great early start there from Fnatic, and even though TPA decided to try and make them pay for that freeze, it was really late. And the buckshot there, Reckless was already trying to push that wave back. It was not a dragon pickup for TPA. It was nothing huge for them. They didn't get much out of that big wave bottom.
Well, TPA all backing away. They've left themselves fairly exposed for this dragon, and with Cyanide on Elise, he's going to send that skittering spider in there. TPA are going to try and react to this one. You can see Jay and Wins just off the side there. They have got BB nearby, but Archie hasn't got teleport. He's not going to be involved in this fight, and I feel it's going to be a dragon simply for Fnatic.
Yeah, because the teleport was used by Archie to go to that bottom. All right, you go for the steal attempt, but Cyanide definitely known for his smites. Good effort there from TPA, try and get back in this one. But again, the teleport was used by Lissandra to go cover that lane that they had given up on, and it was seen by Fnatic.
Very easily covered off. So, we'll see how this progresses at the moment with the gold advantage still in the favor of Fnatic. It's now built up to 2,000 gold. It's starting to stretch slowly but surely. Soaz got himself that giant minion wave in the top there. Archie's actually going aggressive, looking towards this mid lane. Yellowstar trying to make a repeat visit. Peke actually going to get away. Solar Flare lands on towards Achi. Achi now going to get focused down. Yellowstar's going to be the focus for Wins. Wins tries to bounce it towards him, gets the finishing blow as well with Taste the Fear, and steps away. It's a good turnaround by Taipei Assassin.
Yeah, great move there from Wins. They're able to finally come up with something. They get a kill in the mid lane, but how much pressure can they create with this? Mid lane, there's a Graves and LeBlanc here. Pretty good wave clear already from Reckless. He's got that Bloodthirster, just straight AD, does so much for Graves. It's really hard for them to push on this.
Well, the blue buff is potentially the focus. They really wanted to get in there, but Fnatic defending in numbers. See, Soaz is rotated down in towards that mid lane while Achi clears out that top wave. He's still got a gigantic CS advantage built up over Achi as well, but he's going to get focused out here. No escape for Soaz. Actually, the contempt from PB helps him on his way.
Yeah, so it does not walk close enough to the wall. And TPA do not get anything off of that kill. Besides the money from the actual kill, Dragon had already been taken by Fnatic, and they can't do any pushing. So still Fnatic definitely in the driver's seat, having a very good time with the way this game has started. They can use this strong team fight here to continue to control the map. And we'll expect Fnatic to be the ones making the early moves here. Unless TPA can get another pick, then it's going to be very hard for them to get back in this game.
Well, we'll see. Of course, TPA still have a fairly scary team composition of their own with Achi going in. If you could lock them up, get them in the right place, Wins could be pouncing in stealth, of course, with that ball delivery system, along with that shockwave. There's a lot of damage able to come out of Taipei Assassins. Fnatic can't rest in their laurels. They have a good start, a good lead, but it is not over. Bebe's got to be careful, though.
Soaz is going out into lane, though. This is the pick.
Soaz is going to get caught out in the top lane. He's already used that wish. Meanwhile, down the bottom lane, they're actually pouncing on towards him. Soaz is going to try and get away from this one. Actually does get him down in the end there. Now on the bottom lane, you can see Yellowstar locking on towards Bibi. Cocoon coming out onto Jay. This is actually a haphazard fight by Fnatic. They have to step away, and Bibi's going to try and chase on this one. That was a really bad engage on the bottom lane.
Yeah, mismanaged engage, turret dive from Fnatic down bottom, and Soaz, he doesn't make TPA dive. He steps right out into lane. Great lockdown from Lissandra plus Kha'Zix. That's everything you need. The CC as well as the execute damage.
So Reckless, he needs to get himself rolling here. BB on Vayne, keeping up in farm, keeping up in everything really other than the obviously single kill that Reckless managed to pick himself up. Bloodthirster versus a Blade of the Rune King. We'll see how that develops out. Peke goes aggressive on Morning, chunks down half his hit points and continues the flow with both of them on blue buff. They want to go aggressive.
Look at that top lane, though. They got the kill on Soaz. They took him out. They were not able to take the turret, so not converted into an objective once again. The pick just giving them a little bit more experience to catch back up, and that gold. Fnatic still feeling pretty comfortable. They're probably going to be looking to force some fights here because they have a much stronger team fight.
A mistake from Peke and a very stern, serious-looking face on him right now as he messed up a little bit on that Wraith there. He's not going to be angry with himself. Maybe that is a sign of nerves. It's something we saw almost certainly by Fnatic up against Royal Gaming, but of course they are 3 times champions in Europe, so they certainly know how to perform when it counts, but this is a high-pressure game for them.
All right, so both teleports will be ready for that dragon in a minute and a half. Yellowstar's already laying the groundwork.
Oh, he doesn't quite get the leash in there. Cyanide tried to join him, but this is 3 members of Fnatic now in their mid lane. Ping ward's being cleared out by Yellowstar. They may try and make the move on towards his mid turret.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta watch out for cocoons, and the slow already lands.
Oh, the death sentence comes in, the shockwave, but Peke tries to step away. Wins gets back on, Taste the Fear comes out, locks him down on there, and now he's bringing the cause in towards Cyanide. He will back away from this one. Soaz had to back away. He had to defend that top turret, and it left Fnatic exposed.
Yellowstar's coming in from the bottom, though.
Well, whether he's going to get in towards it. Oh, he's going to start with the solar flare, locks on towards it. Reckless comes in, gets himself the kill. The cocoon landed on Wins. Wasn't quite enough to finish him off.
Man, it was almost starting to just roll in TPA's favor. That was the 3rd kill in a row that they had gotten. This one gets answered, though. Yellowstar, he abandoned his ward clearing work. He's actually completed the objective, and then he comes over, rotates up, and gets the kill.
More importantly, gets himself the CS, the kill, as you mentioned, and the tower down. And now Achi's out of position. Where's he going to go? There's no shockwave available. He's going to get locked up. Tries to use anything he can to stun himself out there. Flashes away. Fantastic stuff The ultimate coming out from Reckless, not enough to take him down.
That's that annoying silence I was talking about in the matchup. He actually stops Achi from getting away and makes him blow his splash. So they do get a summoner spell out of it.
So TPA, as you mentioned, had actually started turning the game in their favor, but Fnatic do respond quickly. It's still only a 2,000 gold difference though, and the mid turret will go down.
And Fnatic really want to get in position for that next dragon. They want to take advantage of that objective that they can force a fight at. So everybody needs to heal right now, and they need to get in position.
Well, TPA are going to try and rotate down in towards it. They've taken the mid turret, they've got their vision advantage, and now they're going towards the dragon. This will pull the gold very close in terms of difference between the two teams. And Fnatic, they're helpless. They can't respond to this one.
After that last fight, it was great for TPA. They answer the mid turret, plus they get the dragon. Dragon provides bonus experience to catch back up, and they get the global gold. This is huge for TPA getting back in this. Now we're seeing some momentum swing back their way.
Serious pressure on Fnatic in front of their home crowd here in the European All-Stars. As Peke is going to get the blue buff. He needs that. He needs to get rolling on it. It's the second time he's had it in this game. But as of yet, on LeBlanc, he's yet to start picking up the skills. This tower, despite being left alone for a long time, has barely been touched in the top lane.
Yeah, you know, they weren't able to get much damage off of it over the early kill up there. But again, coming back with that dragon is huge for them because TPA are the ones, as I said, with that BB on Vayne, he's got his Blade of the Rune King completed. He's feeling more comfortable extending further out into lanes, especially when he has Jay there to save him with a lantern or something. So this is not looking that terrible for TPA anymore. They're starting to ramp up that comeback.
So we see Zhonya's Hourglass now completed by Achi on Lissandra. Soaz is pushing on the bottom lane. Ooh. This bottom lane pairing actually may get caught out. Reckless and Yellowstar hiding in the bushes as BB pushes up the lane. He's going to be the focus target. They manage to land the Zhonya's on towards him. Lock him down with the solar flare, but Jay's going to try and turn this one. BB putting the aggression back down. Teleport's coming in, but it's going to be too late because Achi is already there and they've got the kill for BB.
Great initiative there from Achi, teleporting in first, gets the lockup, and now Soaz way too close.
So in trouble, Death Sentence just dashed out of there, Reckless. Peke had backed away, but he's coming back down to join the fray. You can see the Tribush is covered off. Morning is laying in wait as well. It's a 4-on-3. Fnatic is still pushing.
Now they actually have a lot of threat on this bottom turret, and it's pretty low, so even 3 versus 4, trying to shove it in.
Oh, actually taking some damage. Has got that Zhonya's, as I mentioned, completed. And again, Fnatic unable to take it with that wave. Will they keep on pushing because the pressure is still on there? Top lane is covered off. Cyanide's up there. They want this turret.
Uh-oh. Cocoon Dust lands. It's the battle of the junglers.
Oh, he's going to be trying to turn around, but Cyanide's taking some serious punishment from wins there. There's the bottom turret. Fnatic finally got it down. They are 3-2 up in turrets, but this game is very close.
Yeah, not that much wave clear once Morning leaves the bottom lane for TPA, so they have to give up the bottom turret. But BB, he could be working into a static shift there. He could be looking to supplement that wave clear.
Achi is invisible. He didn't have a ward there, so he didn't realize he's there, but nor did Achi!
Oh!
Holy smokes! Peke just melts Achi where he stands. That's the danger. Now his ability power starting to stack up. He can land his combo.
And Achi knew that was very dangerous to go for, but it's only 3 members of Fnatic down here, even though TPA have 1 member dead. They can— oh, did he steal it?
Oh, yes he did.
Reckless!
Reckless with the steal. Nicely done on the red buff there, using that ultimate. While this is all happening, Soaz is continuing to push that top lane out. He's coming across towards the blue buff now, which Morning really wants, but the rest of Fnatic are there in numbers.
They can steal both buffs here. Amazing turnaround here. Fnatic actually invading the jungle. Now, they really want to get more wards down here deep so they can get more of those picks that we saw from Peke and Yellowstar. Lissandra knew that it was a dangerous bush to go near. Trying to just shove that ward in there really cost him.
Solar Flare lands, Bibi getting locked up here. Peke comes in to finish the job, and it's another carry down. But Yellowstar, he's going to get left stranded. There's going to be the wish coming out from Soaz. I'm not sure it's going to quite be enough. Peke's trying to land the distortion on 3 members. Not enough. He has to back away. Yellowstar, sacrificial lamb, buying time for Reckless in the mid lane.
So even though they lose someone for that pick, they create enough pressure by drawing everyone else down bottom to get some damage on the mid lane here. Reckless, though, is going to have to back off because he has no backup.
Oh, Jay throwing the lantern out. They're going to try and close it towards Reckless. They get him locked up. Flashes out of the shockwave just at the right moment. And he will get away scot-free.
That is going to be a pretty big cooldown there for Morning as well. Not able to take another team fight anytime soon. Really, though, their main objective right now is retain vision around their jungle. Fnatic are making invades all over the place on both sides. So TPA just have to be careful about letting people get caught out once again. And it looks like BB will not be going for Static Shiv. He does not worry about the wave clear. He's going for the Phantom Dancer hard carry.
Well, we'll see how it works out. He's the man that Taipei Assassins have had to rely on to carry them through these sticky situations. Has not been able to do it so far in this All-Star 2014 Paris tournament. Can he do it this time? He's racked up some gigantic numbers throughout the Garena Premier League semi-finals and finals, as well as the quarterfinals, of course. He went crazy on Draven, but they are asking a hell of a lot to him. He is on Vayne. He is on a champion that will carry late. We're at the 22-minute mark, and he's got good farm, but he was ahead and even with Reckless for a long period of time, but he's starting to fall behind.
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure from Fnatic roaming around. It's not safe for BB anymore after that bottom turret went down. You also have to give props to Morning, though. He is shouldering that burden of wave clear, and he's doing a good job of it. He's actually caught back up in CS, so that's good news for TPA. Also, Achi with some timely teleports. The only problem is he has to watch out his positioning, because if Pekka gets a jump on him, we've seen what happens. He will be bursted 100% to 0 before he can do anything. It's going to have to be a very quick Zanya's activation if he wants to stop that from happening.
Speaking of timing, Fnatic ready for the Dragon Spawn, but as are Taipei Assassins, they actually swept the bush, didn't quite catch the ward just off of the side there, which is why Taipei Assassins have got themselves some vision in this Dragon area. Both top laners still away in the top lane, keeping on pushing. Teleport will be available in just a second. Fnatic going deep on this Dragon. A lot of damage coming out from this one. Smoke screen goes down from Reckless. They
bait in the team fight.
Wins goes in, Solar Flare lands on towards it. Jay takes the brunt of the damage from Reckless. Actually gets in there. Sonya's Hourglass, it's a great shockwave coming out from Taipei Assassins. They try and turn this one around, and they may well just do it. It's a double kill for Reckless though, but he's going to get pounced on. It's another double kill, this time for BB, and it's a 4 for 2, sorry. No! Cyanide got away, I can't believe it. He's on nothing.
They do have control of the map here though. For TPA, yes, even though Fnatic were able to get that Dragon, TPA TPN, and they're able to have control of the map, so they can actually answer. BB is still alive as well, so he's getting more minions. Key for them. Let's take a look at this. Yes, Dragon is finished, but here, let's watch the shockwave that comes in, because the AoE from TPA actually does a lot here. Archie locking up Peke this time. He's the one who got the jump, and then the shockwave. Everybody was on the Lissandra as well, and he's able to get a great shockwave from Morning there, locking it up. Wins just running wild throughout that team fight. This is the Kha'Zix with the 2 damage items so far. He hasn't transitioned into tanky build yet, going full offense.
And that was the big combo that we talked about, the Taipei Assassins have. Once that damage builds up on them, it's only gonna get scarier, and Fnatic have got to be careful they don't get caught out in the Dragon Pit, in the Baron Pit, or one of those locked up situations in one of those bushes, because TPA clearly proven they have the team fighting prowess on them. Fnatic, they've been working with picks so far, and they may well try and make another one here, actually being careful and actually getting the support of his team this time.
Yeah, it was definitely a beautiful job of Achi getting his vengeance on Peke this time around, because he was able to lock him up first. Don't want to take that hook, and Jay knows it. It ups his hit percentage, though.
Trying to do a Mad Life. He had the Wins, waiting just off the side there. Could have thrown that lantern out and pulled them all in towards it, but as you mentioned, they didn't want to take it. They didn't really have vision of it, so wisely stepped away. Fnatic are grouping. What is their objective focus, though?
They definitely want to get a team fight where Peke doesn't get jumped on. When he gets locked up, it's really poor for them. They need to get at least one of those long combos off. TPA are doing a great job, though. They're defensively warding up their own jungle with pink wards. Those are going to last a while, and those they can actually defend. Taking fights in the jungle. They thrive on these fights where they're spread out. They've got a Vayne and they have a Kha'Zix. Both of them trying to run around, trying to deal damage from different sides of Fnatic, not letting Fnatic lock them up.
Oh, Wins was the focus. Actually does come in here. They were a little off with their timing on that blue buff, and Taipei Assassins have a good way to push down this mid lane, but they're choosing not to go for it, despite Peke using his ultimate back there. Soaz has once again pushed that wave in the top, keeping the pressure on there that somebody has to go deal with it once again.
Yeah, TPA, they want to play defensively right now, and they're doing a very good job of it, trying to hold on and close that gold lead because they're trying to wait out this Graves. Their AD carry skill is much better, and their jungler is going to be putting out a lot more damage late game too. Even though Cyanide is trying to help, he's going with the spell penetration Elise build, not the utility Elise build.
We do see Fnatic trying to catch TPA off guard. Thought maybe a couple too many had backed our way to the fountain. Instead, they all regroup in numbers, quick to react there. They knew Fnatic's rotation. You can see there is that ward covering off that mid lane, give them full vision that there was Fnatic were there in numbers to try and shove down that wave and sneak out one of those mid turrets. There's the vision. You can see it on your screen in that mini map in the bottom corner. That's Taipei Assassin's view. Hopefully we can see Fnatic's view, and it is clearly a lot brighter for Fnatic right now. They have much better vision, although that bottom half of the jungle is fairly untouched.
I guess we'll be looking for some picks now because Fnatic don't look that comfortable. Hard for them to siege up around a turret, and they really want to make something happen with LeBlanc, Leona, Elise here. See if they can catch anybody out of position, but TPA are not going to give it to them. They want to hold out, and they're doing a pretty good job.
So clearly this, at what, 30 minutes coming up to now, is going to go a little bit longer maybe than the games we've seen. This could potentially be the longest game we've seen in this All-Star tournament. They actually have been fairly close to being around 35 to 40 minute mark for the majority of it. This is definitely the closest game we've seen at this point in time. It's only a, what, 2,500 gold advantage for Fnatic so far. Who has the stronger of the two as we get later and later?
Yeah, and it is fitting that this will be, or could be, one of the longest games that we've had. In these high-pressure situations, it gets down to whoever loses this one is going to kick out. They're not going to move on. We've seen in promotion tournaments in the LCS, teams start playing more passively. They don't want to take as many risks in that situation. But that playstyle kind of favors TPA. As I said, they're banking on BB, and he is scaling up nicely. He's actually even building defense because he doesn't want to get one-shot by Peke. He knows that he has to be able to survive one of those first, even if he gets caught out. So he's got a lot of magic resist, and the shield from Hexdrinker is just so he survives that one-round burst from Peke.
And the danger, of course, will come once that Deathfire Grasp is completed by Peke. You can see that Gravidon's Death Cap is already on there, along with that neatly large rod, so it's only a matter of time before that gets complete. Of course, Morning on Orianna has been playing fairly safe and secure, kept good CS with Peke, and kept the item. Oh, Jay getting hooked in there. Quick distortion
Chain
from
for a
Peke.
chain.
Not going to land on one another. Soaz is making tracks to head down here. Peke, look at that distortion catching on Morning and TPA Bebe. So that is both carries now caught out. That may well be the dragon.
Yeah, got
Fnatic.
the Vayne ulti down. Wins can go again for another steal and a lantern out, but he doesn't have enough time there. With a Vayne ulti down, it's actually extremely big. Even though it's a short cooldown, Vayne without her invisibility is acidic duck, even though she's still got the mobility of tumble.
Ooh.
Biggest part is invisibility. They engage!
Have they caught out? No, Peke managed to distort out there. Actually taken very low. Peke has to flash out. That's going to be the wish coming through from Soaz to keep them topped off. Soaz, Yellow Star is caught out. Peke comes back around the side, decides against it. But now Bebe, he may catch him in there. Shockwave only pulls in Soaz. It's not enough. Reckless from the side. He's getting free farm right now. Bebe's going to get focused on Cyanide. Switches out. Cocoon will come through to moment. That's going to lock on towards BB. BB will be taken down. It was only a 3-for-1, but it was such an important one. Can they feed off objectives? Will they go Baron?
Yep, Fnatic are very happy with that against Fnatic! Peke!
Peke finds Achi just towards the end, and now they absolutely will go Baron.
No jungler on the field for TPA. Easy call for Fnatic here. There's no shockwave even for Morning, even if he could get there. Not a lot of threat. Huge win for Fnatic. Jay takes in this hook with the team not quite all in position. And even though they get the lockup here, the sustain, Soaz with the heals, able to back up the rest of the team. And the secondary engage here too. Bebe flashes over to get this one. And the tumble out, Morning only hitting one person with shockwave. Just such a disoriented fight here. TPA kind of looks like they rushed this one a little bit. They were stalling out really well, but they jumped the gun, and Fnatic made them pay for it. Fnatic extremely happy. They're relieved after that last team fight because It was getting to look like TPA were mounting that comeback. They now have the Baron buff, though, and they could push with that.
Big turnaround for Fnatic, that fight. Started off, actually, by TPA going in.
Yeah.
Maybe a missed call there, who knows? They will have to analyze that one after this fight, and it could well have cost them the tournament. Fnatic now in the driving seat. Baron buff on, and a gigantic gold advantage. It swung from just a 2,500 to what a nearly 7,000, 8,000 gold differential, and of course the Baron buff stacked on top of that, the gold difference, which you can't really equate with that health regen it gives you.
Yeah, Fnatic extremely happy with the recent turn of events. Everybody's going back to purchase with all the rewards they just got, so that not only will they have the Baron buff over TPA, but they can actually use all this money, this huge gold lead that they do have, to bring about a tower siege where they can rely on some Baraka sustain, even though they don't have the best range for taking down a turret. LeBlanc actually is adept at poking you under the turret. She just has to put herself in a little bit dangerous situation. So Peke, he can do some harass, but he has to worry about Achi. Keep your eyes on Achi. If he's able to lock up Peke again, we've seen how that team fight will go afterwards.
Yeah, and Achi actually did complete his Rabadon's death cap after that fight. You can see him glistening blue there as he picks up a brilliant spot. There was actually a Void Staff picked up, and Fnatic looking to siege this one out. They've got the minion wave, and they should poke this turret down. No problem there. Fnatic in full control now. 4-2 up, and again, BB just getting poked out, and it does so much damage. Just a single wisp of a spell coming out from Peke in Bibi's direction, and it just knocks a chunk of his hit points off straight away.
Now this is an interesting situation for Fnatic, because they could go safe and take these outer turrets, which TPA will most likely not try and defend and get just some global gold and add that to the lead, or they can crack into the inhibitor turrets, which is what they really need, because they're worried about this game going super long and they want to be able to crack into the base. It looks like the first decision, they stay there for only one wave, and now deciding to rotate over for the easier goal.
The problem is they didn't really have a minion wave either side.
Oh, the juke!
Oh, the juke from Fnatic! TPA, they finally realized they're quickly switching around. They realized they've not shown themselves in lane yet. Let's get back around to that mid lane. They're keeping them running a merry dance. They're hoping that someone is going to step out across there. Peke trying to see if he can sneak anyone out there. Instead, takes himself back.
I mean, it's a tough decision. Rightfully so, they're flipping back and forth. And Fnatic would love to get a pick rather than having to just siege up like that. If they can keep moving between top and mid and catch TPA moving to defend this outer turret, then that would even be the better situation. They don't have to siege up. They would definitely take that option. But so as recalling, he's got the teleport. He wants to catch all this money at the bottom wave while the rest of the team keeps pressure.
So that is old experienced heads, I feel, coming into this one, thinking we've got the Baron, we took it off the back of a good fight, but we're not that far ahead, as though that's what they're going to feel. They're looking at, all they can see is 12-10. They can look at the items. They have no idea that they're, what, nearly 10,000 gold in the lead. It won't feel that way to them at the moment after so many close fights. And wisely, they, as you mentioned, step away and make sure all of the waves are pushed up so they can keep some pressure on those turrets.
Now, look at the current state of the game. Very, very little ward coverage for TPA because they were bottled up inside their base when Fnatic have so much control. They weren't able to get any more wards down. All their wards expired, so the entire map is dark. Look at this. This is a very scary situation for them. They have to play against Peke, who's extremely fed right now. He has the trinity of AP items, plus another needlessly large rod. So if he finds anybody, then it's going to be doom for them. And Fnatic would really love to play that game. They're going to try and strangle this entire map, take advantage of that vision.
Take every resource away from them. 15 seconds until Dragon's up. That's absolutely Fnatic's. You can see Cyanide already heading off there. He's going to take that one down. All of the jungle being stolen away from Taipei Assassins, just amounting to masses of gold heading Fnatic's way. Peke, he's off the side. He wants to find himself a kill. BB not having a bean of that at the moment. He steps out of that jungle, backed away, despite the fact he's got that Banshee's Veil on him now. Even though he can get popped pretty quick. There is the Dragon for Fnatic.
Yeah, they want to play this as safe as possible, even with a 10k gold lead. Looking to take away every option from TPA. They might even wait the full timer for that Baron to come up. They don't have to siege up on one of these turrets. However, they've got a fairly tanky Leona in Yellowstar, and if they still see anybody out of position, they have the opportunity to immediately jump on them.
Reckless is fed nicely as well on this grade. You can see 612, 343 minions, the highest CS in the game so far. And actually, I would suspect probably getting close to the highest CS we've seen in the tournament so far as well. 12 standing kills, and as you see on your screen, it is a 12,000 gold lead. Fnatic get themselves in this position after a very good start, honestly, but a good turnaround from TPA to drag themselves back into it. But they have been caught out by this one. Fnatic using that vision advantage they have and sneaking in there and taking it without the minion wave.
And now they only have 1 more minute to wait for that Baron, so they will definitely go with this option. I do not see them sieging up an inhibitor turret. Since they have so much vision control, they can make TPA walk right into their hands. They've got the Soraka with the Rylai's. It's hard for TPA to go face checking and getting vision around Baron, because if they get close at all, as we said, Leona, Soraka's going to back anything up with slows, and they also have Peke, who's extremely fed. TPA are in a really tough spot right now. Not only do Fnatic come to the doors with a huge gold lead, but pretty soon, it's going to be the Baron.
So TPA desperately sweeping out their jungle, trying to get themselves a little glimpse in towards that Baron pit. Jay dares sneak in there. He's realized it. He just peeks around the corner and puts it in the river. That's as far as he dares go. And already that's going to get spotted out. Pink ward goes down from Yellow Star. That will be the only vision that Taipei Assassins had of that pit. The timer will not be visible for them. They're ping on it. They know that's where they've got to go, but they're going in blind.
Yep, they're going to prey on TPA's anxious... Whoa, they're just actually going to face check here. TP from Soaz.
Sure, that's going to be a cocoon locking at wins, actually. They do the damage. Soaz teleports in, as you mentioned, but TPA actually got away lightly with that one, I feel, despite the fact they went in blind.
Yeah, bold move from them, and they are rewarded. They were able to get the TP out, so at least they've relieved the pressure of the split push. However, the Baron threat is still there.
They have no vision of that death push. Pink ward actually going up just a second. Back up! Locked up! Picked down! Nicely done by Taipei Assassins. Jay tries to capitalize. It's not quite enough, but that was an important pick, and it's by Achi again locking him down.
I have to say that was just a pure mistake by Peke. When I said he can go for those harass, he has to keep his eyes on Achi. Remember, Achi, when he gets the jump on Peke, he can lock him up first. There's no hope for Peke. Yeah, I mean, look at his build there. He does not have any tenacity. He has nothing to get out of it.
This could be an inhibitor for Taipei Assassins. They take the inner turret down, and they're going to keep on sieging through. They have the minion wave with them, and they can just force Fnatic away from this inhibitor turret. It's going to crank it open. Reckless using his ultimate, trying to force them back, blow them back away from this one. The minion wave is down, but TPA are not done yet.
They are so happy with the way that went. That was pretty much the best possible outcome for TPA. Not only did they stop the Baron, get the teleport out, but they also got the kill on the main mid laner, and the middle turret already down below half HP. They're looking to get it before Peke revives, but the timer comes up.
Well, they put a good siege on. They got a good dent into that turret, but as you mentioned, Peke is back alive. Look at that. You can see in the top turret being worked down by the minions. Soaz is going to have to go up and deal with that one. That's going to delay. The Baron is up. I'm not too sure whether TPA want to start this one off. They're going to try and set a trap.
Ooh, a Baron bait of their own. I don't even Fnatic think that TPA would do it. Now the ball comes out, and they're aware.
Well, the cocoon does land. The wards come in. Fnatic are going to try and set themselves a trap. It's a dangerous game, though, as has been already proven. Actually, again, with his ultimate backup, he can lock down Peke as well.
Real aggressive.
Way too deep, I feel, in this one. Solar Flare locking him down, but there's no damage to follow through because Reckless and Peke off of the side. Peke taking some beatings from wins there. Reckless also having to get away. That was the wish being used out by Soaz, and TPA are forcing Fnatic back here. They're going to back away from this one, but this is clearly a tense fight between these two teams. Fnatic do not feel they have any advantage whatsoever in these team fights.
Yeah, they're playing pretty scared right now. I have to say, though, BB's early defensive items definitely paying off for him there. The Banshees and the Hexdrinker. Now, though, Fnatic with the recall of the jungler, they can just burst this down.
Oh, they've got to be careful they don't get caught in the pit by that shockwave. It is available. Morning's going to come in. Keeps harassed down on towards him, but the Baron is coming. There's the shockwave. Morning getting locked up. The rest of the team are focused on towards him. Reckless comes in, gets himself the kill. Win with the void spikes, trying to keep them away. Jay has got his play back available, but he's going to get locked down. You cannot escape. 4 members of Fnatic with a Baron buff. Peke was keeping them busy at the side, and the crowd is absolutely loving the fact that Fnatic are back in the lead.
Fnatic win the waiting game around Baron, and they prey on the timings. TPA backing up without vision. Fnatic get the Baron buff, and they're looking to end the game on this push.
The stadium is erupting as is Achi. The SOAS moves in. Every move, every blow is being cheered on by this French home crowd. As SOAS manages to get himself the kill. This is going to feel so good for the Fnatic fans as they push on through for the win.
TPA almost had the comeback, but now Fnatic on the Nexus turret.
Baby locked up, Baby goes down, wins his focus, he gets dropped, he gets to the fountain, it doesn't matter, Fnatic are on the Nexus turret, they're going to surely take one down, the second will fall, and Fnatic get through to the semi-final to face SK Telecom in the All-Stars Paris.
They've fallen out, congratulations to Fnatic.
Fantastic scenes here in the Zenith. Fnatic, it's been a long time coming, honestly, the win. Finally, the home crowd fans do get one, and it does put them, all importantly, through to the semi-finals. It is against SK Telecom, the world champions, reigning world champions. It's going to be a tough feat for them, but by God, they had to work for that one.
They did indeed. Playing a little bit scared there. TPA showing signs of life. Getting a lot of good picks for themselves as well. But in the end, Fnatic control the Baron pit. Fnatic control the game.
It's going to mean so much to them. SOAS, absolutely big cheers on his face, but you know there's tears in their eyes, bless him. He absolutely wanted a win here, no doubt about it. He'll be out to tell his friends, everybody is here. I'm absolutely certain they will have some family in the audience to come and watch them. And finally, they get themselves a win on the board. It's been a long time coming, though, and despite the fact they were, what, 16,000, 17,000 gold up, they were not sure about those team fights.
Yeah, the threat of the comeback was really scary, even though they had such a massive gold lead. So, you know, they played it pretty safe, and in the end, it did pay off. That last bit of aggression from Peke really got the heart pumping there for a lot of the Fnatic fans.
Yeah, with Peke going down, that was like a, oh, have they done it? Have they done a throw? It's unbelievable, but it didn't happen because they managed to turn it around. And honestly, TPA, what could they have done? Could they have tweaked any advantage from that kill? Could they have forced the Baron fight? They did the right thing, I feel, to try and force and get that inhibitor turret down as quick as possible.
So they got a lot done going up mid, and then it was the second time where they went back to Baron around, and they did leave, I believe it was Achi teleporting back, but leaving Baron unattended at this stage in the game. There's so much damage on Fnatic, they can take it down that quickly.
Fantastic stuff. For more insight, though, we are going to head on over to the analyst desk with Quickshot and company for the final discussion.
Thank you very much, D-Man and Kobe. Fnatic do manage to take down the Taipei Assassins, and they will advance to the semi-finals, where, of course, they are going to be doing battle with SKT. I mean, exciting game, a little bit chaotic.
Well, the thing is, Fnatic, I think we can all agree here, they always know when to deliver. They're in the top 4. Probably one of the best teams in the world, in my opinion, now.
Yeah.
And I think
top 4 in the world.
So during the game, Monte Cristo in the start was like, TPA, yeah, I think they're going to win. But then they just turned around. Fnatic
It was
all
top lane
over the
Soraka.
place, man.
Top lane Soraka.
Euro.
Top lane
Know what
Soraka.
to pick, man. Top lane Soraka.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I actually do have to say that I think that in this particular instance, top lane Soraka was actually quite a good pick, because if you can silence the Lissandra, she's never going to get that ultimate off and you can just kill her.
Is SKT ready for top lane Soraka?
Not sure.
Hey, listen, Fischer called them the
think they
best team
are.
in the world. 1 and 3 in groups, and that's
Top
it.
4 team in the world.
Top 4 team. Touche. Well covered.
Well, we'll see how they do tomorrow. I mean, the last time they faced a mid-tier Korean team, they got crushed in the IEM finals. And actually, you know, we can really see the parallels between SKT and the KT Bullets, because they're actually kind of fighting it out for 7th and 8th place right now in Korea. When they get back, they'll actually have the 3rd place match, and they'll be against each other.
I don't think they try hard in Korea. I think they save it for these international tournaments.
Yeah.
And that's what we see here.
For the real competition.
Yeah, for the real competition.
Exactly. You can actually show that they're very good. But so Fnatic right here, they played, I guess, the way I expected them to. Individually, they've remained strong. They make good, like, you know, 2-on-2, 3-on-3 sort of plays. I think they're strategies were still a little weird, but I actually have a replay to show of their small skill decision making. If we can pull that up on your screen, it's a tower dive very early on in the game that gave them first blood. So before we start, I want to point out that they're basically ready to dive onto the turret, but notice that Yellow Star is one who's going to take aggro with this one, actually. He's going to make sure he's on Leona, he's got the Eclipse Shield and wanted to make that happen. And there's actually a misplay by Achi here, who actually casts his abilities too early. If we start the clip out, you're going to watch what happens here. So he roots early. There's no aggro on anyone. That turret's hitting a minion. Yellow Star gets the armor from Soraka, then flash stuns to pull aggro, and then Fnatic goes in. They coordinate that, make sure the tank pulls aggro when that fight starts, and then he just backs off with one turret shot to go, turns on the Eclipse Shield, goes back in. Once again, you're seeing now it's Soaz with aggro, flashes back at the last possible second. Their micromanagement right there is very strong. They put aggro on the right guys. They know when to leave. But that's kind of the limit of what's going well for them.
Now, I do want to talk about how the rest of the game played out. Fnatic continued to make those dives, continued to grab kills and play more aggressively, actually securing more objectives this time around, I feel, than the match earlier in the day. But sometimes they were over-aggressive. Sometimes they got caught out. Actually, a lot of times they got caught out. We're going to move quickly to the second replay. Deficio, talk us through this one as we pull it up onto your screens. And then let's just talk about Fnatic's stance in that mid to late game.
Well, so first of all, Pekka here, he's of course going to be hooked in by Jay, so he's overextending a little bit. But it's actually more TPA I want to look at here in this fight, because this fight shows to me the issues for TPA. When it comes to individual play, especially in the team fights, they make some mistakes. So if you just roll the clip here, the hook is actually very good here, and obviously Archie, he wants to lock down Pekka, but he flashes away, and instead he gets Yellow Star. So you just wasted one of your ultimates onto the support, a very tanky member. Following here, Fnatic now, they can continue to chase, continue to fight. Notice Morning coming up here as Orianna. The ball is on his head, uses the ultimate, only hits Source. I mean, your two main ultimates here are completely wasted, and that's why you lose the fight.
Yeah, and I don't want to be mocking Jay, but he died without using exhaust as well.
Yeah.
Even worse.
Well played, well played. All right, guys, we'll get back to this discussion. I believe the interview is actually ready. So let's throw this over to Shox, who is joined in the interview lounge by the winning team, Fnatic.
Thank you very much, Quick Shot. I'm joined here by Expeke from Fnatic after that win versus the Taipei Assassins. Peke, first off, tell me about the mindset going into this game, because obviously you guys have not been doing well in this tournament up to now, and this was the last chance. So tell me about the strategy and how the team went into it.
Yeah, I think we were pretty positive about this game. We saw TPA playing, and they seemed to not be doing as good as other teams. So we were like, okay, we can still make it. We just have to play this game like we play the others, but try to do less throw later, and then it will work. We still did some throws, but it worked out anyways because we were really ahead these games. It was not like we were really close and then we throw and they just finish. So yeah, pretty much the mindset was like, let's just play like we did the other games and try to just be smart when it comes to team fighting and stuff.
Well, I'm not going to let you glance over it that quickly, because it was able that it went back in TPA's favor when you guys were around Baron, and Yellow Star talked about how confidence is a big issue for you guys throughout this, and then you go in and you die, and what does that do to you at that moment, and how do you keep the guys going, and okay, we can do this, we have to finish this out?
Yeah, it was, Lissandra reacted really fast. She had no ward where I was, so I didn't expect her to think I was there, and I used like double ultimate, and she ultimate before I even land. Like I couldn't go back at all. So she was really fast, and after that, of course, I got nervous because it's like, okay, my team can defend Baron, but they can still push mid and maybe take inhibitor. Luckily, we were really ahead, so Grace could clear the waves. We had Soraka, so Elise could tank a bit and then get healed, and they were not able to even take the turret. And I had Hunger, so once I saw I had like 10 seconds left and my team was defending, I was like, okay, everything's fine. Let's just play it safer, super safer, and we still got this.
So everything is fine. You guys made it through, but that does mean tomorrow you guys meet SKT again in the semifinal. You put up a good game against them today, but something tells me that that wasn't maybe the full SKT that we're going to see tomorrow. What do you think in a best of 3 can you guys realistically do?
They are a really good team. The problem is all their players are really good and they make like almost no mistakes. Every mistake they make, they try to make up with doing something better somewhere else. And they are a really hard team to play against, but it depends. You never know how it can go. But today at least we did good versus them. We will see tomorrow. It depends a lot on the picks versus them, because normally they have really good picks. And this game, even though they had really good picks, they still wanted to show off the SKT Telecom skins, so it was not the best team comp they could get. That's why I think they couldn't do as much as if they had other setup.
So A lot of people are shouting here for Fnatic the whole day and the whole tournament, actually. A lot of fans behind you. Is there anything you want to say to them? Anything you want to say about the event?
Yeah, the event is great. I didn't expect like so much support. I don't know, like we lost the first 3 games, and still we got cheered like if we were winning all the games. So it feels really good after the games. Thank you, guys.
Well, thank you very much, Peke, and good luck tomorrow versus SKT.
Thanks.
Now we're going to pass it back over to the guys at the analyst desk.
Thank you very much, Sharks and Peke, of course. And also to the entire crowd. You guys are fantastic. Been blowing our minds all day. We were in the middle of a discussion. I do want to get some closing thoughts before we start wrapping up the day. The bullet points that we were summarizing, Fnatic overextending, overaggressive. It was backfiring on them. And it was great to hear Peke actually openly admitting, look, SKT were showing off a little bit and maybe not playing to the best of their ability, so to speak, but they still lost. And that's the scary thing.
Yeah, well, Pekka mentioned it would be about picks tomorrow. I don't actually think it would be about picks so much as strategy. In this game, we saw both these teams just didn't play it strategically correct. I mean, one instance for Fnatic, they didn't even Baron bait properly. They could have waited a lot longer, and they actually ended up losing a pick to TPA. Then TPA pushed in return. They could have easily tanked out that tower. I mean, they had 30% health left. They were late game. They were strong on a 5v4. They could have taken that inhibitor and maybe gotten back into the game. Thing is, if you give that much room for your opponent to punish your mistakes, they will. And SKT1 will not let that slide. They will immediately punish you for those mistakes. So I don't think it matters what they end up picking. SKT1 is just stronger strategically than Fnatic right now.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Completely agree, of course. Yeah, Fnatic, they beat TPA, but it wasn't pretty. And that's just the whole thing for Fnatic. Krepo said it just himself here. Had SKT been in a position to go up there, get the inhibitor, they would have done it. They would have taken it, got back in the game. TPA didn't do it. That's why TPA are now out of the tournament. Fnatic move on as the last seed. And honestly, as much as I hate to say it to you, yes, Korea is better than Europe.
Yeah, well, I mean, we
What
know this.
Well, I'll tell you what, I think that's enough for now. Right, thank you very much for your insight, guys. I do think it is time to take a look at the standings to see how the teams stack up. Finishing at the top of the table is SKT TK1 with another perfect 4-0.
Next up, we have Cloud9 at 3 wins and 1 loss, and just behind them are OMG with 2 wins and 2 losses. They're followed by Fnatic just barely making it into the semifinals at 1 win and 3 losses, and rounding out the bottom of the table are Taipei Assassins, finishing at 0 wins and 4 losses.
Yeah, of course, after our games today, we have our bracket completely filled in. So let's take a look. Facing off tomorrow in the first semi-final best of 3 will be Cloud9 and OMG. And following that will be SKT T1K playing against Fnatic in the second semi-final, with the winner of both series playing in the finals on Sunday, which will be a best of 5. Now, that all take place